Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, my friends. Welcome. Wednesday morning here, pre-market at SpartanTrading.com. So we do every day, pre-market, as long as the market is open. Let's see what mischief we can find at this point in time. Okay, so once again, this is not unusual, atypical, but I think there's a fascinating disconnect going on right now with these builds, and I'm not exactly sure. Well, granted, we had a mild winter, but we're talking about gas here, API crude. But I mean, the supply, that's for sure, right? I don't know. I also reiterate that this Dallas Fed numbers are really important. Manufacturing is a big deal, -2, and comes out -15. Okay. And it's worse than the prior month. Right? So this is really stuff we have to pay attention to. Maybe we eventually get to a recession with a capital R, I don't know, but it's still a function of employment, right? And then you just heard about the airline pilots, right? As well as Caterpillar reaching agreements, right, with the employees. Obviously, look, I told you this was coming because the union members suffered last year when they were not able to get rate hikes by the fact of not changing jobs. Okay, so now you see the unions exerting their will. Okay, and we'll see how it plays out. But like I say, this is this inflationary constant rotation on the stickiness of inflation. So you get people who have more purchasing power. Well, they're going to purchase, right? Retail names really ugly. A lot of stuff came out in terms of low-end guidance, et cetera, right? Let's take a peek at what's going on in the Asia Pacific Rim. You know, I look at the Australian market heavily. And you can see here GDP growth a little bit softer. AI, group industry, -10, -1.8. Monthly CPI indicator better than expected. Capital expenditures worse than expected. And the week goes on, GDP dollar inflator, right? Higher than expected. Indonesia. Now, okay. So Xi's already come out and said we will be aggressively addressing some issues in terms of the economy. Now, granted, once again, these numbers are their numbers, right? But irregardless, they're all good numbers, right? PMI, Cakeson, you know, everything was better than expected. And the numbers are actually pretty good, right? So Indonesia, you can see in the inflation right there, higher than expected, higher than the previous month, right? Core inflation, better than expected. And then you get down here. You know, why does this macroeconomic picture matter? Because it's not for today, but we're talking about 3, 6, 12 months down the road, the impact some of these this data has. And you know that I look at Australia, Asia Pacific Rim as a bellwether, okay, in terms of where we're going from here. And then obviously you've got your Europe, right, out of the Germany, etc. It's tough to hang your hat on UK because it's just a special situation for them, right? Okay, so North Rhine-Westphalia CPI, 8.5 versus previous, and you can see here, month over month, year over year. Nationwide housing prices coming down, right? Better than expected, lower than expected. Global manufacturing PMI, final was a little bit softer. Unemployed persons. Okay. Remarkable how that to the penny to the person, right? Unemployment change 2,000 versus 11,000. So we see this whole construct stickiness, right? Across the board. Mortgage approvals, 39,000, yada, yada, yada. Nagel, whatever, right? And then you've got Mexico business confidence, better than expected. And then we have the auction. Look at these rates, guys, scale spreads. 15-year Bund, 2.79. Crazy, 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 crazy. All right. What do we got? Here we go. 30-year mortgage. Okay, so let me play devil's advocate. So mortgage applications is dramatically lower, but cash buying of houses is high. Okay, what does that tell you? If you can pay cash for a house, what does that tell you? It ain't no Gen Z peeps, that's for sure. Just say. All right, here we got preliminary 8.7, higher.
Victor, Papa.
Higher. What the hell are you on? Oh, there you go. Anyways, and then we'll see what it. Okay, I have it on mute here.
$54 estimate, that's PMVP.
Sorry about that. I had to change this. Hold on, let me mute the my laptop. There we go. Mischief managed. Okay, and then we'll see what our PMI says at 945. ISM as well. So these actually will move the market. Now, we went over the statistics yesterday. 70% statistical probability on March 1st, right? March 1st, the S&P and the NASDAQ is green. And then you have with the Russell, I think it was the Russell and the NASDAQ. Anyways, 60% plus statistical probability on March 1st. We'll see, and then we'll get the EIA crude numbers. Let's see what's going to happen there with natty gas. Okay, so my continuation bounce in gold is starting to pan out. We're not quite at the pivot point yet, but we'll see on that. Okay, wow. First solar. I have to say this. For solar, right? Who does this? And this is what I said yesterday. Who does this into earnings? $2 million bet on First Solar. Who does that? Just saying, who does that? Seriously, lots of lowering guidance today. Abercrombie and Fitch raised guidance, and then we got Kohl's, MYE, NEO, NOVT, UWMC, XMTO, some beats, some misses, Workhorse. Hi, vey. That's all I have to say is hi, vey. Seriously, hi, vey. Consumer confidence index. Now, this is what's really interesting about it. Okay, so if you go back in time, in the good old days or whatever, right? You see here that future employment was a component. Really, it could be a large component, driving component. Now we basically have it down here: future employment, future business. Everybody's mired in muck with future stuff. Present employment, right? And then even you see present business. Interesting, right? Conference board expectations, current conditions. U.S. goods imported per billion. Boop, boop. Poll, Canadian home prices are to fall a median 20% from peak to trough. Now, for those of you who know about the Canadian way here, every single year they've been talking about this happening, and every single year it goes up like 20, 50%, whatever. So, I mean, you're talking decades worth of home prices inflation. This is why individuals can't afford a home unless it's a legacy and inheritance, or you make $1 billion, or you basically live with your parents. That's how it works. So we'll see if this actually comes to fruition. Right? Discussing a new START treaty through closed channels. Good luck with that. What do we got? All cash home sales at highest level. Yeah, like I say, this is not reality, as far as I'm concerned. It's just not. Anyways. Okay, so this is this dude. I said, okay, I'm going to start looking at what he has to say here. So stock market top, he's predicting a disinflationary cycle. I don't know about that. I'm just saying, I don't know about that. So here's the 2-year, like going down dramatically. Deflationary bubble. I don't know. It's kind of cool, but I don't know. Here we go. What do we got? So we got the surveys. Goldman Sachs is reining in its consumer strategy. Key, Russia focused on circling Bakhmut. Oh my God. Supreme Court expressed skepticism toward Biden by student loan forgiveness. Seriously, anybody thought otherwise this was going to happen? See, this is what I'm talking in terms of political weaponization. Okay, once upon a time, okay? In the good old days, once again, doesn't matter. I don't care what political bent, until we get through this just stuck rut of sides and no cooperation and this and that. And I mean, yeah, okay. U.S. labor market is showing signs of slowing, but this does matter, just so you know. Okay, the decisions made by the Supreme Court, and we know that with Roe v. Wade, it did have political impact. Don't underestimate when you come into the next election cycle, some of the stuff that the Supreme Court is doing will impact voters, how they vote. Just saying. Past U.S. industrial policy offers lessons and risks for the CHIPS program. Okay. White House and Congress are ratcheting up their focus on Chinese threats. Look, TikTok, globally, you know what I said about this, TikTok. This should be banned globally, okay? Just because of what they do, right? They get kids today, even young adults, and they basically disclose their whole life to them. Southwest Airlines is studying passenger boarding, speed up the glacial and irritates and all along with it. Okay, cool. Okay. Whatever. Well, rates headed, bet on higher. Well, seriously, come on. Just talk about being behind the curve. All right. If you're gonna do it, put your big boy they pants on, right? Let's be gender neutral here. They pants on, okay, and just rip the bandage off. And I got news for you, you'd see a collapse on the commodity side. No one has the courage. No one will. And then you have the other side. I cannot reiterate the importance of the balance sheet of these central banks. I just can't. And we're going to talk about that, actually. Okay, South China Morning Post. Yeah, we got the same thing. We got the flu going on here, too. Okay, whatever. All right. So this is Avi Gilbert for Elliott Wave peeps. He's looking for 4,300 on this rally, to FYI. This is what it looks like on the hourly. Okay, and you're talking by mid-March, here's what he's thinking. But then what's interesting about this, so this is the fifth wave, right? So it's measurable. You got the third wave and then the fifth wave coming. Yeah, I know enough about Elliott Wave. Anyways, but then he's looking for a retest of these lows, which I think is kind of interesting. Okay, so I just wanted to share. Sharing is caring, right? JP Morgan downgrades Makita. Cites muted 2023 growth, where the shipping company, a U.S.-China trade bellwether, isn't talking like recession is coming. Interesting, right? Okay. Fierce resistance seen in Bakhmut says its fighters are under insane pressure. Where is the rest of the world as this stuff happens? I mean, I guess you could, and look, I'm a hawk, okay? I am a hawk, right? EWZ, okay? Anyways, lots going on in Brazil, not all good, none of it good. SQQQ, oh my goodness gracious. Big hedge. And this is why this is skewed this way, is because we're seeing these big hedges coming in. Some of these are rolls from March, 207.50 in the money, 6.3 million. AMD, 4.2 million. 85 for July. So you know about First Solar. We're seeing these really big bets coming in that we haven't seen in a long time on a steady basis, right? And notice that on the put side, minimal amount. So that hedging that was going on isn't going on anymore. Now let's see what we are currently experiencing problems. Okay. Let's see if this will populate. Okay, here we go. All right, so what do we got? Oh, BTNR, I'm in that one. Now, why am I in that one? Interestingly enough, Oppenheimer, Noah, was starting to get bought up yesterday. Interesting, right? BTE, so we got some energy names coming, getting some stuff. Menno out of TD, KMI, Kinder Morgan, Bernstein, Gene, 75% Studet, Merck, MKSI. Okay. Tile, Sarepta. I mean, some of these, okay. Why would you follow a 1% person success rate? Why would you follow anybody with a 27% success rate? These are important questions to be asked. Yes, I ask them. All right, what do we got? SI Silvergate was downgraded, but the price went up. And here's the Makita. But once again, a downgrade, yeah, but you have a higher price target on it. So, meh. You don't get any love. Warby Parker, there we go. Wow. Wow. All right, Sebastian. Anyways, sorry. IHRT, this is what I'm talking about. You only have 43% stud, but that's what I'm talking about. These analysts are just so squishy. All right, so you notice Guggenheim dude dropped all these upgrades, initiations, buy, neutral, buy, neutral. Okay. This one's down, this one's up, 436%. I like that. SCYX, I like that. So this goes, something like this goes into my pile, That's where that lion was. Congrats if any of you follow me. I was able to sell it higher in the after hours, not up to the 35, but anyways, I got in the mid 20s, so that was kind of cool. So it is, yeah, it's these things. This is how I get into these things. I see an analyst or something like that say something like that. I said, okay, fine. And I put a little bit of money in it. I mean, we're not talking a lot, 0.5%. See what happens. I got a portfolio just for that. And you know what? It just either works or it doesn't work, right? Okay, what else we got going on here? I want that one. Okay, so this was the seasonality. So tomorrow is red. And then, the day after, Friday is green, and then it gets sloppy choppy. Okay, but, March is a tough month. No, here's the NASDAQ. The only good thing about it is these rallies are pretty robust. Okay, so today is 70%, well, I shouldn't say that, 70% statistical probability. That's what we're looking at. All right, let's see what's going on here. Okay, so natty gas, OJ, you know why? Here we go. So the bonds are still really low. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. FXI is low, right? Marijuana, who cares, right? We'll see. And then let's go over to this. This is, I like to look at this breath. See, everything's reset. This was all red, rosy, right? Now it's all green. So you should, you know, if we were in a bear market, okay, this could extend, but because we're really not, we're in a range bound, hitting support, extension, stuff like that, you would expect some of this to bounce, is what I'm saying. All right. I got stuff for you guys. I've been working. I worked on some stuff. All right, so this 30-year, anyways, I don't know what to tell you on this one. Okay. So 2, 5, 10 all up, 30-year is down, right? Oh, Canada, up, globally, up, except you got it, Japan and Hong Kong. Here's our 2-5. Here's our 10-2. This is breaking down, guys. This is important. I actually have to do a spread going back. Not on this one. Let's see if it's in longer term trends. Hold on a second. Let's see if the 210 is here. Here's the 1. Here's the 210. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so let's do this. So minus 1%. Okay, so here we go right here. So 1970s. You can't see it, but you can see it pierces below here. Irregardless, the 210 guys, you're talking about history here. Well, we did get it down here with the Great Depression. Minus 0.96. Okay. This is minus 0.9. Okay, so yeah. We're talking some big stuff here going on in the 210 spread. I can't get it right to that one I want. Anyways, epic. Okay, big deal. All right, so we know, right, that minus 0.96 was the Great Depression. So you know me, I like to. There you go. Then minus 0.90 was Burns. Okay, and the same thing would be Burns. This is how I do it, so just saying. Okay, there you go. So Great Depression is, I should put this in there. There you go. Okay. And we're getting there, knocking on that door. All right, here's the 530. Inversion, it's about to crack again. Here's the 10-year. I don't know if, like I said, I think we're going down here, 115-ish, more, I don't know. Chinese government bonds. All right, so here we go. I wanted to look at foreign direct investments, okay, because this is one of my themes, right? So you know that money is coming back into China after being sold off, right? And this is a biannual. So this is going back to, this is the height, the peak's 2014. Okay, then you can see it's going down here, and now it's starting to go back up, okay? Here's the UK as well. You can see this is really fascinating. So you see money going into the UK. Here's Germany. Actually, it was, but now it's not. It's coming out. That's just fascinating as well. Okay. And here you see the United States is coming down as well. Okay. And you say, well, what does it matter? Well, you're talking 74 billion, 76 billion, 74 billion. Okay. And now we're at 69 billion. And like I say, a lot of this would be in bonds and stuff. So that's why I keep saying that I think the bonds can sell off because you've got competition going on right now. Here's the central bank balance sheet of China. This is, look, obviously this is in yuan, right? But irregardless, you can see the buildup here from here. That's 1,000%. Here's Japan. Well, should we even look at this? Okay. It all started in the 1970s, right? And then we have here, walk down memory lane, right? Now, see what this is. More than 34%. I don't think that was adjusted on the Chinese side, right? Financial crisis, right? Balance sheet rose 369%. Now, they're the only one who's actually trying to get this thing down. And they've done 59% right now. I'm really serious when I say if you look at the balance sheet of these central banks, and I know I'm talking a lot about macroeconomics here, but this is quantitative easing. As long as you have this sort of balance sheet you're holding, now granted, some of these, on the balance sheet side, but this is, some of this is not just bonds, but equity as well, irregardless. How the hell can we go anywhere? All right, here's the UK, interest rates starting to creep higher. Here's the, okay, so this is why I'm showing you this as well. Okay, so as you see, out of the UK being as competitive as US on the yield side, right? Why wouldn't you? It's almost at parity right now. Okay, it was down here minus 1.1%, and now it's at parity, right? Here's a German central bank. We're not the only ones here, like I say. Let's do 6 months on this one. Same thing, right? Financial crisis of 2008. I mean, you get the gist, right? What I'm trying to point. All right, so here's the German rates popping out, making new highs. And then here you see the US against the German. Now, this is important because this is a multi-year consolidated top, right? So out of the UK, it's parity, okay? Parity would be up to here, and I think we are going to parity on that, and that's why I think we can see more money coming out of the US. All right, so the dollar's pulling back a little bit, double top. Let's see if this holds. This is a weekly. This 103.97, all right? But irregardless, I believe, okay, I do believe that the bond market is decoupling in some ways, okay, and we're going to see that continue to decouple as we see this continuation of money flows, right? from Japan and from China out of the US bond market. We're going to see some money flows going, more money going into Europe, right? Asia Pacific Rim, etc. Okay. And here you can see here, they're not, for foreign direct investments, what the key tenet is a strong currency, right? Well, one that you're not devaluing. All right, here we go. Yay, who cares? All right, commodities, what do we got? We got basically, it looks like 80+% green today. All right, and this is just conviction. I mean, all of these things, okay? We're getting close on gold. All right, basically heating oil, natty gas is up again. Right, crude is down, right? Copper, nickel, right? And then we see here sugar. I mean, don't forget with this cattle, right? Out west with that snowstorm, crazy stuff, the way it dumped. Yeah, the way it dumped. DBC still holding, trying to break, but it's still holding this reversion to the mean. And this is why it takes months. This has actually been going on for over a year now, this consolidation pattern. Right? Natty gas, look at that. I bought a little bit more, mainly because I was so freaking ass impressed that it held that level there. I mean, seriously, really, really impressed. Okay. All right, here's crude against natty gas, right? We're starting to break down here. So this was the prior pivot, multi-year pivot, right? Starting to break that back down. So pretty much, I think we're going to go down here. So it's already moved 25%, but I think we go down here. So that's another 12%, 11, 12%. And then we see what happens. All right, so why was, this is why I had conviction, okay? If you go back in time, right, and this is why I have Bollinger's on, okay? We have never seen an extension like that that doesn't come back or close to the Bollinger, okay? That's why. That's why when it was up here, I said, and this was another piece to my puzzle for the natty gas. Still, I mean, crude still getting pinned. Here's the 10, here's this. All right, so you know the drill, right? We're coiling, snaking. And I don't know which way we go. It's this way, or it's this way. Don't know. And as you can see here, gold against crude held beautifully. Okay, this EMA, right? And that was a 20 EMA on the monthly, really beautifully. Okay. Held well. Let's see. And here's gold. This is why I'm starting to buy a little bit. I'm not aggressively buying. So what I'm doing is not so much buying as basically selling my dust. Okay. And we're going to talk about that in class today, how some of these hedges, how you view them, adding and subtracting, stuff like that. Okay. Stocks. Okay. Red. Green. Red. China green. Look. All right, so this is my take on this, and Twins mentioned it, okay? Every single time this thing pops, right, it comes back down, these names, right? I'm just saying, be careful. Because you can only go to the well so often, right? And I know you say, well, Beth, come on, right? I'm just saying, right? There comes a point in time when you get your hands smacked, right? And I don't know, we'll see how it flows, but I think they're going to try and knock it down, and then it's not going to knock down. So what did I do? I've been accumulating more of my PGJ. It's up to 2% position now in my portfolio. So what is that? That's that Golden Dragon ETF. So that's got Bobalicious, PDD, JD, everything, and I have my Baidu, right, and I have my yin, right, and then I have my yang, and basically I've been trimming my yang. Okay. Anyways, let's go. All right, here's the DAX. Fantastic. Look how beautiful this is, guys. This strength is just fantastic on the monthly. Okay. FAS. Now, this did pull back more than I expected, but it was starting to bounce. It is a monthly. Okay, we're in a new month, March 1st. We'll see how this plays out. I don't know yet, but we did hold this extension, okay, which is, something that warms the cockles of my heart. Okay. EFA still hanging in there on the monthly. FXI. Okay, so we pierced, but look, we're still above this downtrend line, right, on the monthly. And this downtrend line goes all the way back to June 2021. So that's a bullish, okay? Pre-market, we're reclaiming the 23.6%. And you can see here, this is also this extension, okay? So we reverted to the mean, we're pulling back. We have it's actually holding up. Actually, I'm gonna do this, move it up to this. You see that right there? Okay, pivot 1, 2, 3. So on my pivot extensions, guys, I'm looking for at least 3 points. Okay, what? Same thing, pulling back, but bouncing now. A little bit steeper pullback into the 38.2% fib, right? But now bouncing, trying to reclaim this 23.6% fib. I don't care about CQQQ. Okay, extension held so far, right? And here's the money one. Okay, so here we are. This is fascinating. Okay, here we are. I don't know. Look at this. Isn't this not fascinating? Okay, so we're basically in March now. So by time de facto, okay, so this kind of negates itself right now. Okay, because of this, it's a time thing as opposed to a price thing. Okay, so we'll see. Now the extension right now is 668. It's at 676 on this spread. I don't know. Bang. Okay, reversion to this mean, which is actually the 21 in the Bollinger. Now the 20 EMA is holding it up. Okay, so growth value, yeah, whatever. Growth value. If you want to make money in growth value, guys, I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah. Anyways. All right, so let's look at the retail. All right. So 65.49 is the fib here. I mean, it's interesting because, the rally we had, these extensions, right? I mean, and we can do fibs off of this as well, but this is a hard rejection. The question is going to be right now on the retail is, are we going to make a higher low? I mean, it's that simple. I exited, I'm very little retail right now. All right, here's the transports, hard rebuff at the 61.8% fib, basically holding this reversion to the mean, which is the 38.2%, as well as the mid on the Bollinger. We'll see. And obviously FedEx is one of those components. Let's see what happens there. XLF. This is really interesting. I mean, basically we're going to have a breakout, but I can't even begin to tell you what the hell this is going to look like. What kind of breakout? I mean, look at this. I mean, multi-month consolidation pattern. False breakout on the upside, right? Last month. I don't know. Fascinating, right? I don't know. XLY, all right, so we're coming back down, curling up, still holding. This is the 20 EMA. This is the 13 EMA, 21 EMA on the Bollinger. We did break this uptrend line just by the steepness of it. Let's take a peek on the monthly, FYI, just to see what's going on here. And you can see hard rebuff below, but we'll see how this plays out, okay? It's holding up really in the upper quadrant here. So that's a positive, right? XLK, same thing. Rebuffed at the reversion to the mean, still holding this fib as well as the 20 EMA on the monthly. Okay. Now you could look at it this way. Okay. Mhm. So the pullback on some has been shallow enough to say, hey, and here's the consumer staples, that's here as well. This I think could get a little bit more on the downside, 71.27. I still think this is gonna curl up and out, but I don't know.
All right, ready to pop on over here. Ready, guys? Morning. What's going on? Thank you so much, Beth. Let me just pop up the screen share here. If you guys are new to the YouTube stream, thanks for joining us this morning. If you guys are new to the chat, make sure you click on the Discord link that's emailed to you. You're gonna pop in a chat. It's gonna look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do pop in, disclaimer section, click on that. Give this a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, you see a link to the disclaimer, as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both. Go through the risk reward, guys, if you haven't already. It's a good idea to understand how that works before you actually start trading. In my opinion, most important ratio in trading. So go through that. Continue to scroll down. We have the summary of how this chat works, breaks down all these channels working left-hand side. So you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. That's important to already be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to read alerts on the options and equity side, breaking down how to read alerts from both sides. Continue to scroll down. Options rules that we like to use Monday, Thursday in regards to controlling risk, scaling in, scaling out, trading different price contracts, etc., etc. These are the rules that we like to use every day. SPX rules I use every single day for the ideas there. Any of the small account less than 10K. Now, these are just rules I used to use when I had a smaller account or was doing the small account challenges, I should say. Worth taking a look at if you do. Could help you there. And then how to pick ideas from an options or equity perspective, which just breaks down how to overlay your own criteria on top of the ideas you're level for only things that do make sense for yourself and your account. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. A couple different things. So there's some side charts there. There we go. So a couple of different things. Pre-market tickers on watch. What do we got? Tesla, Rita, SRPT, DLTR, AMBA, and SDGR. So Tesla up slightly with the market. Rita shares are up during pre-market hours following the FDA approval of one of its drugs. SRPT gapping up on Q4 earnings. DLTR, Dollar Tree moves lower after Q4 earnings and forecasting light for their guidance. AMBA gapping up on earnings and light guidance. Sorry, gapping down on earnings and light guidance. And SCGR reports strong fourth quarter and full year 2022 fiscal results. Let's take a look at these names from a from a technical standpoint intraday. So first, we're looking at today, guys, gonna be Tesla on that readout. Let's take a look at these two here. So Tesla, it's funny that my chart's never saved, but obviously still got that flag pattern on the daily. Investors Day today as well on Tesla, just the FYI and a reminder. Let's see what we got here. So Tesla, guys, pivot to the upside today is going to be this level right here. 206.27 levels able to hold. You get run towards 210.53, 213.49, 218.22. Unable to hold, we look for pullback towards 201.45, 196.17. In my opinion, on the downside. Overall, going to be leaning bullish. Control, in my opinion, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point can hold. So I think we still got room to push higher. We'll see what happens with Investors Day. I think you might get a little bit of a run up into it, maybe a little bit of a sell off after it, and then we'll kind of go from there. I think it's going to stay within the flag range, though, regardless of what happens today. All right, Rita, gapping up, really a big move from where it was. Pivot to the upside today, 86.06 levels able to hold. My opinion, 90.75, 97.26. Unable to hold, we look for pullback towards 79.54, 74.39. Then I got room towards 68.33 on the downside. Overall on Rita, maybe leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. So that's Rita, and that is Tesla. So I'm leaning bullish neutral on both there. All right, let's take a look at the next two. In my opinion. SRPT DLTR. All right, pivot to the upside today on this SRPT, in my opinion, 142.71. Levels able to hold 149.57. And then it does have room for continuation above that level towards 156.03. Unable to hold 136. 48. 129.39 will be the next levels on the downside, in my opinion. Overall, on this SRPT, they're going to be getting bullish control, looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot point is able to hold. All right, let's take a look at the DLTR. Oh, true. So 140.86 a share. All right, let's see what we got room to today. I think we should be okay. Let's take a look at this intraday here. And delete this level here. So pivot to the downside today. I gotta delete one more. In my opinion, 139.78 levels unable to hold. In my opinion, 137.15, 133.62 able to hold, 142.91 to 145.52 on the upside. Overall, on this DLTR leading bearish neutral, be looking for a little bit of a pop topping, take short. I think it's got room to roll over. Earnings were kind of met, and the daily chart is looking like wants to break that range to get some continuation lower, in my opinion. So that's what I'll be looking for there. That is SRPT, and that is DLTR. All right, guys, next two. And last two of the individuals. AMBA and SDGR. Good to the downside today, in my opinion. 88.93 levels able to hold, room to back towards 93.26, 97.05 unable to hold, 85.81, 82.84. Sure, 82.80 on the downside, leaving bearish neutral, looking for continuation lower today on this name. Want to see a fade off, in my opinion. Retest the 50 MA, break it, and we'll see what happens after that. And then SDGR, nice little gap up. Volume's a little bit light. Good little flag on the daily though. You're back above EMA support in the short term, I believe. Take a look at that in just a second when I pop up that intraday chart. I like these types of charts off the lows because it's very defined risk or very defined resistance levels on the daily, in my opinion. All right, let's take a look at this thing intraday. Pivot to the upside, going to be 2483. That level is able to hold. We do have room for continuation. In my opinion, to 2579, 2664, unable to hold 2360, 2284 downside. Overall, going to be leading bullish. We're looking for a continuation push to the upside today if that pivot is able to stand today. So that's Umbrella, and that is SDGR. All right, let's take a look at the spy of the FANG. $396.09 pivot to the upside today, in my opinion. Level holds 398.45, 468. Unable to hold. We look for a pullback towards 394.03. 392.26 on the downside. Overall on the SPY right now, they're leading bearish, neutral today, looking for continuation lower. You know, the market got rejected at the uptrend retest yesterday, rejected at the 50 MA, filled the gap. You know, it's got room to the downside, in my opinion, if the pivot is not able to hold today. 393 is kind of the bottom end of the range, so right by that 200 SMA on the daily. So that's what I'd be looking for on the downside right now. I think it's going to be a little bit of a tighter range, but downside, in my opinion, in bearish control. So that's that. Let's take a look at Apple. Apple's done a good job of holding this recent range. 147.25, level was able to hold 148.66, 149.98, unable to hold 146.27, 144.72, leaning bearish control on Apple, looking for continuation lower today. This would be a truly like a neutral type of look though on Apple. It's, you know, stuck within this range. Let's take a look at Amazon. $93.97 pivot, levels able to hold 97.17, so 97.12. Unable to hold, we look for a pullback towards 92.33 to 98.8 in my opinion on the downside, and I'm leaning on the actual bullish neutral side of Amazon today. It's done a good job of holding this a little uptrend off the low, so we'll see if this pivot can stay intact. If it can, it can run a little bit higher. It's truly a week of, you know, things looking neutral, just because the ranges are so tight. 321.05 pivot to the downside today on Netflix. Lower high last couple of days. I'm going to be leaning on the bearish side today, bearish neutral, looking for a little bit of a pull lower. So 321.05 is unable to hold 314.59, 311.10, able to hold 326.22, 331.54. If the pivot's unable to hold, bearish neutral, in my opinion. All right, that's that. Let's take a look at Meta. Okay. As you guys know, love Meta's daily chart. Nice little flag break set up for continuation. I need to get the next resistance here. So pivot to the upside today, in my opinion, will be this level right here, 175.51. Level holds 177.72, 181.63, unable to hold 170, 140, 168.70 downside. Overall, in my opinion, on Meta, leaning bullish, looking for a continuation push to the upside today, if the pivot point is able to hold. Same with Google. Google guys pivots to the downside today, 90.37, unable to hold. We have room to went back towards the last day low area. 89.30 to 88.31, in my opinion, able to hold 91.73, being bearish neutral on this thing. Let's take a look at the VIX Qs out of you real quick. $20.20 pivot levels able to hold 21.20, 22.48, unable to hold 19.26, 18.60 on the downside. Not leaning any particular direction on the VIX, but watching for direction on the market. Let's take a look at the Qs. $294.76 pivot levels able to hold 298.24, 304.09, unable to hold 288.29. I think actually we'll able to level 292.81 on the downside. It's that inverted head and shoulders on the downside. Overall, on the Q is going to be leaning bearish neutral if the pivot point's unable to stay intact, which right now you're below it. One thing with the Qs, guys, is it's still above the uptrend on the daily and the 50 EMA, I believe. Let's take a look at that daily chart real quick. Yes, so could have room to retest it today. 291 is the pivot, or is the 50 EMA, which it's not too far away from where it's at, I guess. And then SPX, guys, let's take a gander at this. Uh, 39.69 pivot levels able to hold 39.81, 39.96, unable to hold 39.51, 39.37 on the downside. Overall on the SPX and bearish control as well. If pivot cannot hold. All right, guys, so that's a SPY. That is the thing. Those are the individual names that we're looking at today. Gonna go ahead, pass it over to South Beach while I type up the pre-market action plan. And we'll go through that once again right before the open. South Beach, if you're ready, it's all yours for now.
Hi guys. Hump day. Let's see what we got here. Okay, so bond market's up 10 years at 396, just about 395.5. Okay, and the inversion is the highest I've seen. We're at 89. Okay, so pretty high. I mean, look, guys, at the end of the day, you can buy 6-month T-bills at 5% or try your luck at the stock market. I think a lot of people are choosing the sure thing. Okay, and I think that'll continue. And I think that'll provide a big time headwind for equities. Okay, looking in London, their rates are down a little bit, nothing special there, just a tinge, and the curve remains flat as a pancake with no inversion. Okay, Germany rates are higher, again, 271. They're really behind, I would say. And they have a, about a half. So now their inversion's over half a point. Okay. Italy, France, they're all the same. So basically higher rates pretty much across the board, not major, but higher. I just want to see the US one more time. Yeah, 0.04. Okay. Moving on, we have commodities. Okay, oil's down a little bit today, staying in that trading range that we've seen. Yesterday was interesting because we had the group down and oil up. That doesn't happen a lot, but I'll get into the reason why in a minute. Natural gas is down a little bit, but it's been moving up kind of nicely. Gold, silver, both up a little bit, copper up a little bit. And as far as agricultural commodities, staying in a pretty tight range, trading range for the most part. Okay. Moving on to currencies, dollars down against North America, down against the yen, down a lot against China. 0.07 is a shitload. Okay. Down against the euro and up against the pound. And crypto, okay, what do we have? We have a weak dollar, crypto goes up. I can't see any better correlation for crypto than dollar weakness equals crypto gains. I mean, pretty much that's it in a nutshell. All right, a whole year last year we had dollar, gains, and you saw what happened to crypto. Now dollar's weakening, crypto's a little better. Okay. So we got Bitcoin up almost 2%, Ethereum's up 1.5%, and Solana 2%. Okay, and let's look at the foreign markets. So we had the FTSE up 37 points, 0.5%. DAX is now flat. Okay, they were up a lot, but they had a number that came out, which we'll discuss in a minute, a number that hit their market pretty good. All right, and then maybe that's why their interest rates are up a bunch. Okay, Nikkei was up a little bit, 0.25%, and China had that PMI number. So Hong Kong's up 4%, and China was up 1%. Okay, that's the backdrop. All right, so you got the banks and the Fed. You have one Fed governor meeting today, speaking today. That's Kashkari. Okay, so that's that.
Your pricing.
All right. We have China. So there was a bunch of news out of China. Their PMI, manufacturing PMI, came in 52.6, which is their highest reading since 2012. All right, so the stock futures started to trade up on that. For the life of me, guys, I don't know what people are smoking. If you have a strong China, why that's positive for the US. Okay, when the number one issue we have in this, as far as the stock market is concerned, is inflation. Okay, so you think inflation's going down if China's strong? I mean, they're the 1,000-pound gorilla waking up. What is that going to do to commodity prices? What is that going to do to inflation? I mean, you guys are doing heroin. Every morning I come in and I'm just amazed at how stupid people are. All right, this is a negative. This is not a positive. This is a negative. All right, and all these guys rushing to leave China, these suppliers, is going to raise costs. All right, you got to move, you got to hire, you got to train, increases costs. So all these things are kind of inflationary. So if that's the big bugaboo out there, okay, why were futures trading up with a strong China? God only knows. All right, but that's what came out of there as far as their manufacturing PMI. They also told Elon Musk to shut the fuck up. All right, otherwise he's going to be kicked out of China in no uncertain terms. He was talking about that commenting on that Wuhan article out of the Department of Energy, basically saying their opinion that COVID started in a lab in Wuhan, and they said, you better shut up. All right, so otherwise, basically, I think the translation was, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Okay, that's the second biggest market he has. And they were pretty stern about it. Okay, it's a communist government. You can't piss them off. Okay, here you can walk in the middle of the street and say, Biden's an asshole. All right, you do that in China, you probably either get a bullet in your head or you put in a re-education camp. It's a different animal and you have to treat it differently. All right, but anyway, everything that's going on there is inflationary and kind of negative for us. So that's that. All right, Russia, there's no real change there, guys. This fighting in Bakhmut, I know I'm saying it wrong, but that coal mine town is really getting nasty and bad, and it looks like it's going to fall. And I think they need stronger weapons, quite frankly. And hopefully they'll get them soon. Okay, so that's China, that's Russia. Crypto we discussed. Mr. Market yesterday. Group rotation is very, very spotty. Okay, quite frankly. I mean, what was yesterday? What did we have? Yesterday was Tuesday, right? Materials were pretty good all day. Now you know why. Okay, someone had a sense on that China stuff. On the negative side, you had big oil and gas, HMOs, hospitals, consumer non-durables, and utilities. You think it's a coincidence those groups were weak? No, because it was the end of the month, and those were the weakest groups of the month. Okay, so even though oil was up, people were selling them to rid them out of their portfolio. Okay, so they sold the groups that were really shitty all month, right? Oil and gas were crappy, drugs were crappy, consumer non-durables, utilities, all crappy, and they sold them. Even though oil was up, they sold them. Now, that may change today, so be on your toes for the group rotation could change it, now that we're in March. All right, I'm kind of thinking that may happen. All right, especially in the fact that there's a lot of headwinds for the market and inflationary and all that other stuff. If the market weakens, I would think there would be strength in these groups, not weakness. Okay, So we'll see what happens with that. All right, so what's working? Well, what had been working was, these de-SPACs are working clearly, right? That's one area, but it's very thin, a stock a week or 2 stocks a week, and that's that. The rotation has been pretty pronounced, right? The groups I told you were shitty all month. And that's really it. That's what was working, okay? And the market was down, so shorts were working, to some extent. All right, so that's that. Tesla has its investor day today. Supposedly, maybe a new gigafactory. I think he announced something to that effect last night, so no surprise there. All right, US 30-year mortgage hit 671. All right, that's the highest versus 662 last month. This German CPI came in 0.8 versus 0.5, year over year 8.7 versus 8.5. So inflation worse than expectations. That's why the German market got hit. That's one of the reasons we're getting hit. And it's clear that inflation now, if China waking up, that's just like putting, a cherry on top of the sundae, for inflationary expectations. Okay, so that's that. Lilly is cutting the price of insulin by 70%. Max cost per month is $35. It's nice to see something like that. Qualcomm CEO expects them to make their own modems in 24. Qualcomm currently makes them. Mortgage demand drops to a 28-year low, 44% lower than 1 year ago. And home prices, they're saying, are down 4.4% from the highs. Okay, I think right now there's you can basically surmise, since demand dropped to a 28-year low, that the spread between what a buyer is willing to spend and what a seller is expecting to get have widened, and you see a lot fewer transactions. All right, when that happens. So I think this 4.4% from the high is it depends on the area, of course, that you're in, but I think that is kind of sugarcoating it, possibly. Oh, the asterisk is what city are you in, of course. Motorola is reinventing the foldable razor. You guys remember that phone? It was very cool, but I don't think anybody would buy a Motorola, no matter what they came out with. Delta pilots are concluding this pact on a rate increase, a raise 34%. So you have this, of course, you have inflation, wage spiral inflation, et cetera, et cetera. The month of February, the Dow was down 4.2, S&P 2.6, NASDAQ 1.1. GM has 500 layoffs. Retail, a bunch of companies are cautious. Lowe's was cautious this morning on their outlook. Kohl's was an unmitigated disaster, etc. Okay. 60% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck. The father of the cell phone saying one day we're going to have the cell phone under our skin. That's interesting. Marko Kolanovic, okay, the guy from JP Morgan. Based on history, the market is 2.5%, 2.5 times overvalued based on where interest rates are currently at. Okay? I don't know how I can. I don't think that's right, but overvalued, yes, I agree. 2.5 times overvalued. I don't know. If they drop by that much, boys, I would back up the truck. Forbes is saying that Binance used customer funds in a similar way to FTX. I think that's very interesting. All right. Goldman's investor day was a bust. Cash is beating the 40-60 portfolio for the first time since 2001. Italy and Germany are fighting back against EU plans to ban the combustible engine. And Apple suppliers are racing to leave China. We all know that, right? I don't know if you guys saw the Dan Niles interview yesterday on TV, but it was pretty interesting. So I'm just going to give you the highlights. I thought it was interesting. Okay. He believes that the 10 years going is 6%. And it's funny that he said this the day before this China PMI number came out. He's saying that the biggest customer of commodities globally has been shut down for 3 years. Now they are ramping up. So there's going to be a lot of commodity demand. He's long copper, aluminum, uranium, oil, stuff like that, lithium, etc. Demand will pick up mid-year and commodity prices are going up. So he's negative on the market and he thinks rates are going to be higher. Job market is another problem. There's 2 times as many jobs as people out of work. So these inflationary numbers as far as wages are going to continue. And wages make up 55% of the PCE, which is what the Fed uses as their go-to number as far as, you know, what inflation is currently at, okay? So all interesting things. Inflation picks up in the second half of the year. He thinks that the market, his target is 3,000. He's long Meta, MUFG on the Japanese yield curve thing, okay? And what else? That's some XLV. High inflation continues, yada, 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 like that. That's his opinion. And Cooperman is saying 22% downside for yesterday. So he has a 3,200 target, and Niles has a 3,000 target, and Kalanovic is pretty negative too. So a lot of negativity out there. Okay, who knows? I'm more concerned about geopolitics, number 1, inflation, number 2. Okay, as far as earnings are concerned, good numbers out of Hewlett, Good RX, Blink, FSLR, Wendy's, Spirit, SPR, not Spirit, Sarepta, SDGI, DUOL, BG Foods, Payo, U, which is clear. I like that company a lot. ISEE, SHLS, AXON, I think that's the Taser company, Mazi, LI, which is the Chinese EV company, PAR, Rocket, Starwood was good, Urban, and ITCI. Lion is the SPAC D move. Retta had FTA approval. Okay, stocks rocking. From what I understand, guys, it's like a 28% people short this name. They didn't think they were going to get approval. Tesla Investor Day we discussed. GM has layoffs, so that stock is up a tinge on that. They were up additionally. Sarepta also, this FDA meeting, they don't have to, there was supposed to be some FDA meeting that was canceled, so it increases the likelihood of the drug passing, and that's why that stock's up a bunch, not just, you know, it wasn't an earnings call, it was that's propelling the stock. On the short side, we have Tupperware. That stock is a pig. Kohl's, the perennial pig. Agilent was bad. AMC, I mean, this stock trades with the wind, who knows? Rivian was crappy, that stock's down. NVAX, they have a going concern situation. I remember the first time I saw Kathy Wood, she was pushing NVAX, Edit, and some other stock. All dog shit. Figs missed, Kohl's, Ross Stores, Space, Neo, and PUBM. What else do we have? Offerings. There's a lot of secondaries today, guys. Okay, if this is either gonna, you know, if this ramps up, and I don't think it will because of market weakness, you know, it sucks money out of the market for other things. So be on your guard for that. But we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 secondaries today. Okay, that's a lot of secondaries. All right, decent names: KDP, AWK, HLMN, all priced pretty good in the hole. You know, like here's a $6 stock closed at $7.39, a $19 stock closed at $21, etc. As far as today's concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at group rotation that changes the narrative for what been all last month. So I think possibly you get strength in drug stocks, you get strength in consumer non-durables, and those kinds of names. I think materials will stay strong because of China, obviously. And I think the stocks that have been okay will, you know, the stocks that need lower rates, like the high PE and tech names and FANG names, I think they could be under pressure. That's what my hunch is. Okay, just an opinion before the market opens. Of course, when the market opens, I'll make up my mind how it trades and how it looks. I sit on my hands for the first 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, that's it for me. Spartan, it's all yours, my man. I'm sure he'll do this in a second.
All right, thanks, South Beach, guys. Morning, what's going on? So let's take a look what we got going on today. A couple different things. If you guys are new to chat, make sure you click on that Discord link that's emailed to you. You're gonna pop in a chat. It's gonna look something a little bit like this. First area to go to when you guys do pop in is click on the disclaimer section, give that a read, as well as go to the new to chat information section, scroll to the very, very top. Top of the section, see a link to the disclaimer as well as this bolded risk reward section. Super important to understand both. In regards to risk reward, guys, most important thing in trading to keep an eye on, in my opinion. So definitely worth checking out. Continue to scroll down in the summary of how this chat works, breaks down how all these channels work on the left-hand side. So you can probably navigate the chat throughout the day. Fortunate to be looking. Continue to scroll down. We have the how to alerts and the options next side, breaking down how to interpret what we're saying on both sides. Pretty straightforward in that regard. Below this, options rules that I like to use for my ideas on the option side throughout the week, Monday to Thursday. Options or SPX rules that I like to use every single day. Right below that, continue to scroll down. With anyone with a small account less than 10K, breaking down. If you have a smaller account less than 10K, here's some rules, information, discipline we put in place. We can better manage our accounts. When I had a smaller account, now this is something that you can put in place or not. It's up to you. You know, this is just my opinion. And then lastly, how to pick ideas from an options directory perspective. And this just talks about how to overlay your own criteria on top of the ideas so you're left with only things that do make sense for you and your account. All right, let's take a look what we got going on today, guys. Pre-market tickers on watch, a couple different things. Everything's posted there. If you guys are watching the YouTube stream, you can simply just pause the stream and give these things a read here. And then on the option side, same thing. There you go. All right. Pre-market tickers on watch. Let's take a look. Tesla, Rita, SRPT, DLTR, Amberella, SDGR. So Tesla up slightly in sympathy of the market. Rita shares are up during pre-market hours following the FDA approval of Skyclair's, whatever, one of their treatments, gapping up. SRPT gapping up from Q4 earnings, DLTR gapping down on earnings, AMBA gapping down on earnings, and then SDGR is gapping up on earnings. Let's take a look at these names from a technical standpoint intraday. First two names that we're looking at today, guys, Tesla and Rita. Let's have a look. There you go. So Tesla, guys, pivot to the upside today. 206.27 level holds 210.53, 213.49 in my opinion on the upside. Unable to hold 201.45, 196.17 downside. Overall, going to be leaning bullish. We're looking for a continuation push higher today if that pivot point's able to hold, in my opinion. There, SDGR. I'm sorry, not SDGR. Rita pivot to the upside today. 86.06 levels able to hold. We got room towards the 90.40 level on the upside at 97.26. Unable to hold 76.54, 74.39 downside. Leaning on the bullish neutral side there, in my opinion, as well. Let's take a look at the next two. SRPT, DLTR. SRPT 142.71 pivot to the upside today, in my opinion. Level holds 149.57. That level breaks. We got room for continuation higher to the 156. That's exactly what it is. 156.03 unable to hold. 136.42. 129.53 downside, leaning on the bullish neutral side today. TLTR pivot to the downside is going to be the 139.78 spot. Levels unable to hold. 137.15, 133.62 able to hold. 142.91, 145.52 upside. Any bearish neutral there, looking for continuation lower. Let's take a look at Amberella. Let's take a look at SDGR. AMBA 88.93 pivot to the downside today, unable to hold 85.81, 82.80, able to hold 93.26, 97.05 on the upside. Overall on AMBA leaning bearish, looking for continuation lower today, in my opinion. STGR 24.83 pivot levels able to hold. They got room for continuation higher. 25.79, 26.64 unable to hold. 23.60, 22.84 downside. Overall STGR leading bullish neutral on that name, in my opinion. Let's take a look at this SPY and FANG, my friends. I'm going to type the SPY up as I do. So let's do that. So SPY 396.09 pivot to the downside today. This level is unable to hold. Room lower into the 394.03 support. Breaks. We see the 392. 26 tested. Pivot holds, room higher into the 398. 45 resistance breaks. We see the 468 tested. Meaning bearish neutral. So looking for a bearish neutral, in my opinion, on the SPY. I think it comes down. I'm looking for 393 on the downside today. That's what I'm thinking. We'll see if we get it. I don't know. I'm just thinking we get to the bottom end of that little range we're in right now. And if we do, we'll see if that level can hold up. If it doesn't, we do have more room. Obviously, to the downside, we'll have more volatility today. But if it holds up, then obviously we can bounce within this range. In my opinion, there. All right, so that's the SPY. Let's take a look at the rest of the thing. Apple pivot to the downside today. 147.25, unable to hold 146.27, 144.72, able to hold 148.66, 149.88 upside. My opinion, leaning bearish neutral on that name. Net Amazon guys pivot to the upside today. 93.97 levels able to hold 97.12, unable to hold 92.33, 90.88 downside, leaning on the bullish neutral side only if that pivot point can hold. Netflix pivot to the upside today. 321.05 level holds 326.22, 331.54, unable to hold 314.59 to 311.10 on the downside. Overall on Netflix, hitting bearish neutral in that name today. Meta pivot upside today is going to be the 175.51 level holds 177.72, 181.63, unable to hold 171.40, 168.90, so 168.70 downside. Overall on Meta, going to be leading on the bullish neutral side as well today, looking for a reclaim of the pivot, in my opinion, for continuation higher. It's got to reclaim that pivot though. Google pivot upside today is going to be downside, sorry, 90.37 levels, unable to hold 89.30, 88.31, able to hold 91.73, leaning bearish neutral on that. VIX, not leaning any particular direction, but I like to use this for direction on the market, as you guys know. 2020 pivot level holds 21.19, 22.48, unable to hold 19.26, 18.60 downside. Not leaning any particular direction. QQQ, 294.76, sorry. Yeah, 294.76 pivot to the downside today. Unable to hold 292.81, 288.29, able to hold 3. Is that 3? No, 298.24 on the upside. Overall on the Qs leaning bearish neutral right now as well. And SPX pivot to the downside today is going to be the 39.51, unable to hold 39.37, able to hold 39.69. 39.81 on the upside, overall leaning bearish neutral there as well. So that's the SPY, that's the thing. Those are the individual names that we are looking at today. We'll see what happens. Should be an interesting one. If you guys are joining us on the YouTube stream, thanks for popping in today, guys. If you want to come trade with us, you can certainly do so. Go to SpartanTrading.com. You can sign up there. And that's about it, my friends. Anyways, guys, let's see what happens today. So